Good morning, friends. It is Checkmate, and I'm back with another trade on my funded account at Breakout. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I already took my second payout from this funded account for about $4,000. The first one was $5,000. The second is $4,000, and you can see the withdrawals here. For 5,000, 4,000. I took 90% of the profit, and then they kept 10%. That's a pretty good ratio. But anyway, today I want to talk about a scalp trade that I took on ETH. Why I took the trade, why I exited the trade, and I had been having a not so good trading week, but this trade actually made all of those losses back, plus slightly a little bit more. So it's a good trade, and I wanna share with y'all. And I also have, with some of the profits that I took out from this funded account, I have purchased a second evaluation, or more like the third evaluation, and so that I can pass it and have another additional 100k funding to trade with. That would give me a total of 200,000 USD trading power without the leverage. And so I still have my funded account, the first one, but I'm working on a second evaluation to get another one. And I'll make a video on that next after this one. But today, right now, we're just gonna focus on that scalp trade. All right. So, I took two scalps. The first one was they both were yesterday, and these were the profits, about 1.4k plus 370 and 50, and then I closed this trade that I had open for $100 loss. But prior to that, as you can see, I had quite a bit of losses before this. These were the trades that I showed in the previous video that were live. I ended up closing them, which was the right call. And then I had this this streak of losses, and then I recovered plus a little more. And currently I am in a position right now on Blast. There are multiple positions of different sizes, so I DCA'd into these positions. I didn't add to a losing position. There's a difference, and you should never add to a losing position. You should always aim to cut your losses short. But if you're really confident on the move, then it's probably a good idea to DCA into the trade. Then again, what do I know, right? I'm just a guy recording this journey of becoming a better trader. I don't sell anything. I'm just sharing with y'all. Alright, so the trade I want to talk about is this one right here. We can talk about this one a little bit, and then the one that I'm currently in, but first we're going to analyze this one. Here we have it. So my entry was about 32.90. You can kind of see it here. The opening 32.90, exit 33.80, which gave us about 2.73% move. And remember, on breakout prop, it's automatically 5x. So this 2.73% is actually about a 14% ROI on my margin. And that's a pretty good scalp. For a scalp, it is very good. Okay, so here's the first things that I saw on this scalp trade, and honestly, Cipher has been showing you both scenarios, up and down. But in this one, I trusted my gut, and I trusted a pattern that I saw on Cipher prior. But let's go ahead and zoom out for a little bit, see what this looks like. And one of the first things I noticed was the spider line. We have a spider line 2.0. And I call it 2.0 because the 1.0, they go back to 2 cycles. The 1.0 spider lines go back to only 1 cycle. And as you can see, they're fairly accurate. It touches right there, right here, right here. And so I saw that, and right here, I saw that price was coming to a spider line in support level, and we had just liquidated here. Well, the market had just liquidated into this trend line and had a reaction out of it. So then we saw a reversal, we did a higher high, and I was expecting this to turn into a support. Also, if you scroll to the left, you kind of see that this level had prior reactions to the upside. And so I thought the probability of getting a reaction here was going to be good, and then we saw this wicks showing a reaction. The second thing that I saw was I pulled a fib, and I saw a golden Fibonacci pocket in confluence with the spider line. So that's already adding to my probability of a reaction from this level. And as far as market Cipher goes, the higher time frames, the medium high time frames didn't really look as bullish to me before, because you could kind of see that money flow has been kind of low. Yeah, just like the money flow wasn't looking good. But then if you look at the 2-day, we see a nice trigger wave. Money flow is still relatively good. RSIs were turning up. The 3-day, you can kind of see a trigger wave being formed with an anchor to a trigger VWAP. Money flow was coming up, RSIs were coming up. So the high time frames were looking bullish, which could back up my scalp trade and building a support on this spider line. But the medium time frames were not all that confident. So what I had to do was two things. First, I looked at the 2-hour, because I mentioned a pattern market Cipher B that I noticed, and that's this one. I've seen this before many times, but I just never really traded it. I just observed it, and now that I saw it, recognized it, I took a shot. So what happens is we have some sort of like a type of basic strategy here. We have Bitboy green dots right here. We're marking bottoms. We have this deep wide momentum wave. We have the anchor to the trigger, to the trigger, to the trigger. Money flow was coming up, but the RSIs were gapped. These RSIs were gapped, indicating a weaker move to the upside, which also hinted at a possible downside move. It didn't have to be this big. It could have just been like that and then up, but it ended up being deep up to this spider line. And the pattern goes, we have this anchor, trigger, trigger, trigger. Money flow is curving up. The RSIs are coming up, and then we have a deep momentum wave to the downside, deep. So we have this, and then this, right? And at the same time that we're having this momentum wave, we have this RSIs coming back together to the very bottom. The VWAP is coming up, the money flow is still curving up, and you can see the power of this move was about 15.5%. So I didn't catch that trade, but I saw this pattern on the 10-minute playing here. We saw anchor, trigger, trigger, trigger. Money flow was coming up. The RSIs were already up, and then we had this deep momentum wave to the downside, and the money flow came back to the downside, but it didn't create a lower low. It was still a higher low on the money flow. The RSIs came down deep and started to turn back up along with the VWAP. Additionally, we had this spider line here. We had this golden Fibonacci pocket here, and we also had this interesting market structure that looked like a rounding type of structure. If you kind of like draw a line like that, it's kind of looked to me a double bottom. Also, it didn't break this low, and so I took the trade. I took a conservative trade of of 0.79% for a loss to a 2.73 take profit. And why did I set my take profit here? Well, we had a golden Fibonacci pocket right there, right there. It just hit it right here, and I didn't take the profits right here. I actually waited. It went all the way up there and then it came down, maybe with the hope that because this momentum wave was so deep, I thought there was a good chance we could break through it, and we did eventually. But at that time, when you're taking a trade, you gotta be purposeful about your scalp. If it's meant to be scalped, then first stay disciplined and take your profits when the target hits. Don't be greedy, because it was meant to be a scalp. And second, I mean, there are times where a scalp can turn into a swing, but I had already lost a couple of trades before, and so this one kind of made up everything and a little more. So I took it. I took the trade, and I took the profits when it came back down here. So in order to prevent it from coming here, I kind of expected that this would be some sort of support zone right here and then bounce back, which it did. I mean, we had this. This is market Cipher SR, support resistance. Let me see if I can delete some of this shit so you can see better. Okay, so this is a VWAP. A VWAP. This is a resistance, pink resistance, blue support, and I saw that price had come to touch here, jump back, fall, and then start to come back again. And at that time, we had a support that was like right here, a blue line that was like somewhere here. So I put my stop loss somewhere over here, and then I just rode it all the way to, I don't know, 3409 from 3371, 3371, somewhere here, all the way through 3409, somewhere over there. So that added to that scalp, but it was very little money. But anyways, I expected this to come back and test the support and go back up, but I didn't want to take the risk because of this medium time frames, the way they were looking. I just the money flow, the volume is just low. We got a deep momentum wave to this momentum wave that could have been a trigger to the downside, and why risk it when you already made the money back that you lost? So just take it. It's a very good scalp. So yeah, that was why I took that trade. And now the current trade that I'm in, which is live, which is I'm slightly in a drawdown, which is fine. You're not always going to be on profit right away, but it's Blast. It has an interesting structure. If you kind of zoom out all the way to the all the way out, we can see there's run up, and then we got this retrace. This retrace is something we've seen before. Back in the March of 2024 run up, we saw something like this, then down, and then in October that's when we pumped. The structure looks the same. We can also see that it's forming bullish divergences. Although price is not coming down, price is holding this level as momentum is pushing up, as well as the money flow. So we can anticipate some sort of move up like that. And as you can see, it has been at a bottom for about 165 days. So we have 165 days worth of data back in this trade over this support zone. If we go to the higher time frames, we can kind of see that we're forming trigger waves. We don't have enough data to see the money flow, but we also see an anchor trigger VWAP. The 2-day looks the same. The 1-day looks the same, but since over here you see deep, medium, low, anchor, trigger, trigger, trigger. Yeah, sure, money flow can be coming down, but you know, I don't know. I just have a gut feeling because of how low the price is already. You know, like how low is it gonna go? So I'm taking a swing on that. On the medium time frames, we can see that money flow is now starting to curve up. RSIs are coming up. Momentum waves coming up. We can see this little triangle structure here. My stop loss is somewhere here, I believe. I had initially set it here, but that's too much. I put it here because we have what, two resistance lines. We have this support zone right here. We have this trend line. So I think somewhere here was decent enough, and we're gonna target first. We're just trying to pass this evaluation. I mean, this trade I have it open on both my funded account and my evaluation account. Okay, so for the funded account, I'm targeting somewhere between here and possibly even to 104. We'll just see how